It's a part of me.
Realistically, I don't think any one member thought it would ever happen again. And to have a second opportunity, you know, it is amazing. The response we've had is fantastic.
I never thought that I would be here. If you asked me this question 10 years ago, you know, did I think that we'd be here again? I'd say no. But I'm very pleased to say that we're back.
Absolutely, 10 years ago, I did not think for 1 second I would ever be back in Steps, and I made that vow, which obviously completely broke, but, you know, everything was obviously still quite raw 10 years ago, and I said, no way, over my dead body will I ever be back in Steps. And, you know, you get older and you grow up and you change, and you realise that actually the 4 other people in Steps are the only 4 other people in the world that know what you went through, and, you know, and what we did to get where we were. So there's nobody else. There's people on the outside that were there, but, you know, it's not the same. So you always have that bond with those people. So it's a shame that we didn't talk for a long time, but it's all good now.
Towards the end of Steps, I think we were on such a heavy work schedule and we were so very tired, and it was more of a treadmill and something that you expected to do. But this time round, because I guess we never thought we'd be back here, you just appreciate it so more, and you know that the people coming to see the show feel as excited as we do.
I didn't really have to think twice about coming on tour with Steps, because I'm a performer at heart and it's what I've always loved to do. And I wouldn't want to turn down the opportunity to have this time again with my friends. We're really lucky to have it.
Well, this tour was kind of unexpected, really, you know, because we got together to talk about promoting the Greatest Hits album, and then that turned into a TV show, and then that turned into 20 arena dates, so it's taken us all by surprise. So we would have liked to have a bit more time to prepare for it, but I suppose all in all the planning's been about 6 months, from kind of original ideas to actually putting it on the stage.
It started, I guess, in January. We had our initial meetings with musical director, people who were organising and designing the stage, our choreographer and director who has been just getting the whole programme together. So it's been a long time coming.
Well, when we first started discussing the tour, we had a wish list. So, you know, we kind of got together and we brainstormed lots of ideas with magazine cuttings, YouTube clips, you know, we just basically threw everything in the mix, and that was our wish list. And then we worked with Gareth, our show director, and he kind of told us what was possible, what wasn't. And then he's created this, yeah, it's just a monster of a show, and we're so proud of it.
We always did have involvement with how the show was going to be. This time round we had Gareth Walker, who's our choreographer and show director, and he had a lot of ideas, and I think the main skeleton of the show was his idea, and he came up with a first draft set list, and, you know, we then started putting our input in as to exactly what we wanted and changing things around if they didn't feel quite right. And obviously the costumes we had quite a big input into as well.
My role has been therapist to everybody, and to make sure, I'm joking, and to make sure that the whole concept of what I come up with works from every angle. So my role has been to make sure from a music point of view everyone's happy and that it's creative, from a staging point of view, from a visual point of view, that's video, and also choreographically, that it's all pulled together and that it's one hell of a kick-ass show.
There's a lot of work that goes into a tour, not just for ourselves as artists. You know, there's the stage crew, there's the organisation behind it all. You know, you've got to get your dancers, you've just got to get everything right, from costumes to lights to pyrotechnics. It's a big, spectacular show, really, at the end of the day. It really is. There's a lot of work that goes into it, and, you know, we're very humble in a way because we see how hard all the roadies work, and the trucks that travel through the night, and they rig and de-rig this amazing set that we've got with loads of gizmos and gadgets that happen within it. And I think it's great. It's like a big family. It's a huge, big team.
been incredibly hard work, just because I was fit, but being fit and show fit are two completely different things. You know, we're learning to juggle with fire, we're having to dance and sing at the same time, you know, coming up and down lifts, run up and down staircases. So yeah, there's a lot of technical elements to this show where a lot could go wrong, so safety is paramount. So we have to kind of juggle that with our performance. That's tough.
I think going into rehearsals, we had a lot more to do on this tour than we ever used to, because obviously by the time we got to the tour 10 years ago, all the routines were done. It was just fitting them into a show and rehearsing it. We knew everything, but this one, we obviously learned quite a lot from scratch.
We've had over 6 weeks of really, really gruelling rehearsals, and again, to be honest, that's something that I really enjoy because I've always been a dancer, but it's all challenging and it's nice to push yourself. But also it's nice when you remember some of the old routines that we learnt 10 to 15 years ago. And, you know, we needed brushing up a bit, which is fine. It's been quite a few years. But it's really come together, and I think we're doing a good job of keeping the steps memory alive.
The hardest thing, I think, for me probably is the amount of choreography, because I'm not a dancer, I'm not a trained dancer, so I do it and I can do it and I am enjoying it now, but I don't really like learning it all. If I know it and I can do it, then it's fine, but I think the kind of rehearsal process where we were learning quite a lot of it at the beginning, I just thought, I'm never going to be able to do that. I'm just never going to be able to do it.
Challenging ourselves and putting us onto the stage 10 years later, we've worked harder, we're dancing more, we're singing more, so we've really had to be match fit for this and really get out there and blood, sweat and tears to get on there. We all have a solo spot during the show, and we always did. This time I chose to have, I asked for Priscilla Queen of the Desert as a theme. I really wanted to have a really big camp shoe and the song that I chose was One Night Only from Dreamgirls, and that was because when I used to be a showgirl myself many years ago, it was one of the first songs that I danced to, and so it had a lot of meaning and place for me, and I really wanted to have a good old sing with it and also just camp up a whole number on my own.
I think being at the O2 it's the big thing for all of us in Steps. It's a place we've never done. I don't think it was known as the O2 back then. So, you know, I'm not saying all the other arenas are not as important, they're all as important as each other, but the O2 I think has a special place for us just because it's new, it's exciting, and it's going to be amazing to get there. And we've sold it out. You know, what bigger achievement could you have?
It's incredible that we've sold 2 O2 dates. It's a bit weird for me because I've never actually been there. I went there years ago when it was the Millennium Dome, but it's very exciting. Yeah, I mean every major artist plays there, and now we are.
The O2 didn't exist 10 years ago, so it was, you know, the Millennium Dome. It's a completely new venue for us, and I always loved doing Wembley Arena, as that was, you know, the main venue in London. But you know, I've been to the O2 and I've seen quite a few shows there, and for us, every time I go, I'm like, oh, wow, this is amazing. Wouldn't it be great? And you know, and now we're doing it, and we're going to be there. It's amazing.
I feel really excited about it. I think the nerves will kick in the half hour before when the costumes go on and the hair and makeup's done, and that's when we all tend to get a bit nervous and hyped up, ready for the show.
The worst thing for me is just, you know, not being at home with my kids, and they're here at the moment but they're going home tomorrow, and it's weird balancing family and being a pop star, I suppose.
Every day is such a long day when you're away from your babies, as any mother will know out there, but I also know that this is a fantastic opportunity. It doesn't come around very often, and so I have to seize the opportunity and grab it and just embrace it, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it, and my family are very supportive, and that's one of the reasons why I can enjoy it as much.
To
I thought it was going to be a nightmare having kids on tour, but I actually love it. Absolutely love it. And I love that they see me in a corridor and run to me with their arms open and want to play. I love that. They're the girls' rocks, and I think, you know, in this crazy world that we live in, you need some kind of normality and stability like that. So I think they're good for the girls. They keep them grounded and keep it real, and that's important.
It is harder because obviously we've all settled down. The girls have children. I'm getting married this year. You know, it's a big year. There's lots going on, and I think it's nice if you can share that. It's nice for the people that you love to be part of your life. Doesn't mean they have to be there 24/7. You know, don't get me wrong, but it is quite difficult when you have to leave them behind.
Before, it was just all about the group, and it was all encompassing, and it was, you know, day in, day out, and we were very much in a Steps bubble.
I think the whole dimension has changed, and the reason that they are doing this now is for their kids. You know, it's not about them. They have to be totally selfless and think about, you know, little people. And I think that's really important. Just kind of when you wake up in the morning, it's about bottles and nappies and school rather than hitting high notes and worrying about who's singing what line. You know.
You sing.
What shall we sing? Baba Black Sheep.
Yeah.
Baba Black Sheep, have you any wool? You're clearly not your mother's daughter, because she's got a big gob on her. We didn't really know who was going to come and see our shows, because, you know, 10 years ago we had fans and they were our core audience, and they kind of swept the board from, you know, kids to housewives to the Pink Pounds to grandparents. And this time around it's that and more. It's, you know, all of those people that have had children and bringing their grandchildren. It's strange, but it's very exciting for us.
It's really interesting looking out into the audience and just seeing the variety of fans that we have. And actually, I think it's quite similar to 10 years ago. Obviously, everybody's 10 years older now, but in the way that we still have the young children of ages like 4 and 5 who are doing all the dance routines, and you just think, how do they know them? You know, they weren't around the first time around, so obviously their mothers were Steps fans and they've passed it on. And then you have the 30-somethings that remember us from the first time round that grew up with us, really. And then we also have a really big gay following, which is lovely, and we've always been very supported by them. And also, you know, you have lots of grandparents and parents, and I think that's what's special about Steps. We really do appeal to many genres of people and ages, and that's really lovely.
Every time I look out into the audience, you just see people jumping and smiling and crying and wearing costumes, like to mimic our video costumes, and you just realise that, you know, sometimes a Steps concert is the best cure to let your hair down and actually forget everything else.
Oh, do you know what? Every single fan, I think, that comes to see a Step show is completely up for it and is expecting to have a really big party and a really good time. And I think so far they all are, and they all seem to be really enjoying it, which is exactly what we set out to achieve.
I've come all the way from Chicago, Illinois, in the United States just to see Steps tonight. Their music just speaks to me. I think it's you could sing to it, you could dance to it. It's just great pop music.
I grew up with their music and stuff, so it's always been in my generation. I was only 6 when they first came out, but I've loved them since I was so young.
You forget your problems when you listen to their music.
Yeah, when you hear Steps music, it makes you feel happy. It's just the best music in the world.
Yeah, it's blown my mind, like much better than I could ever have imagined. It was so good. They were so lovely as well.
The nicest pop band in the business.
Yeah.
busy, but we've all got our different routines. Mine is getting up around 8 o'clock. I like to go to the gym if the hotel's got a gym, sort myself out, wake myself up. Then I'll feed my body with fuel, so I'll have breakfast. At that point we're then packing and I'm rushing to get to the bus. We all leave at a certain time, so we're on the bus and then we'll travel to the next location and we'll set up camp, so to speak, in our hotel rooms when we arrive, and then they'll be filming throughout the day. I get physio now and again because I actually damaged my neck, so I've got to keep track of that. We all go to the arena, we do sound checks, so we've got to warm up our bodies and our voices, make sure the sound levels are all right. That takes a bit of time. Then we're lucky enough to get a little bit of a break to have some food to fit that in, and then after that we do meet and greets with the fans. So, you know, we're backstage for a few hours, meeting the fans, talking to the fans, having pictures, signing autographs, and then we get a small bit of downtime if we're lucky, where we get changed into our costumes, make sure we've got everything right, repack our bags, make sure the backstage area is set for our costumes and props and things, and then it's showtime. So in an average day there's not really a lot of free time or time out. It's just a roller coaster.
Personally, I think I really like to have a routine. I love to do my hair and makeup myself because that's all part of getting into character and getting onto the stage. And we do lots of warm-ups and vocal warm-ups and physical stretching and things. But I think just a little bit of quiet time with the girls in the dressing room is just nice prep for us.
Actually, most of us are pretty good. We all have our moments where we're a couple of minutes behind, or if we're checking out from the hotel, something might go wrong, or it's a delay. So we might be late for the bus, but it's only a couple of minutes here and there. H tried to set up a fine system that lasted one day. When he was late, it didn't seem to work. Funny that.
The most fun thing about being back on tour is the tour bus, actually. It's really cool. We had a tour bus on our very first tour, and then we always used to travel around separately because we were always doing so much promotion and stuff. But we've got a really good tour bus. It's got bunks in it, it's got little lounges and a kitchen, and it's pretty special. It's a bit rock and roll. Apparently it's Status Quo's bus normally. I love that. Which I love. I think that's brilliant. Apparently our lounge is normally Rick Parfitt's bedroom.
Backstage, it's not champagne and strawberries, it's manic. You know, it's not glam backstage. There's costumes thrown everywhere, there's empty water bottles, there's microphones, there's makeup, there's pants. It's mayhem.
It's very calm on stage, and we give the best performances we can. Backstage, it's just a frenzy. You've got dancers running around half naked everywhere, you've got artists running around half naked, you've got quick changes, you've got crew changing sets from trapdoors that come down, big boxes to go on. Faye has a huge shoe in her solo. That's a bit of a task in itself to get on and off the stage. So there's a lot that happens. There really is.
It is quite busy. I mean, the first outfit, and we're in for quite a long time. We're in for the first 3 numbers and the dance game and 5, 6, 7, 8. And then it's quite a quick change to get into the next outfit. But then there's 2 more songs, and then after that I've got quite a long break, so it's quite nice for me because I'm the last solo, so I've got like 10 minutes or so just to get my last outfit off, sit down and cool down and redo my makeup and just have a little bit of a breather. But once I get past that point, then the rest of the show, it's not so manic. It's that first bit it's really full on choreographically as well. And with that quick change, and we do the fire, and it's a bit, once I get beyond that point I'm okay, then I know I'm in the clear.
There's a lot of tight costume changes, they really are quick changes, and the first night we did them we thought, how are we going to make it? But you do, and there's an audience waiting for you, so you can't beat around the bush. You just got to get one outfit on, get the next one on, and get back on that stage as if nothing's happened.
We end with Tragedy, which is the encore. fans are loving it, which is brilliant. We disappear, all 5 of us at the back, we go down in the traps. Now what people don't see is what happens backstage is you'd think, oh yeah, great, show's over, calm, let's just go back. No, we are ripping our clothes off, we're running to the changing areas. We've got running gear, as we call it, because you do a quick runner onto the bus. So I've got trainers, tracksuit bottoms, and literally a dressing gown that I throw on. All this probably takes a couple of minutes, and we're on the bus. And the reason for that really is it's a very big bus, and we don't want to be trapped with all the traffic and people leaving the arenas, so we have to try and get out while we can and get us back to the hotel. We all like to have a little drink on the bus or at the hotel and just celebrate the shows. So far, the shows have been fantastic.
I can't really explain the feeling after we finish the show, because we go straight down a trapdoor, you hear the crowd go wild, you hear the last pyrotechnics fire, and then we go running down into the dressing room, get rid of our costumes, get into our robes and do a runner onto our tour bus. And you're in such a crazy sort of adrenaline state. You want to hear what your friends and families have been thinking about the show, what happened, did everything go all right, but it's just a massive buzz, it really is.
As soon as you come off stage, or as soon as I come off stage, that's the time when you start analysing the audience. And I mean, every audience we've had, have just been on their feet. They actually don't sit down, which is great. You know that they're having a great time.
You know in yourself whether you've had a good show or not, and I think, but if you've had a really good show, it's coming off, you're kind of a little bit elated, and then you have to get your costume off quick and get on the bus and go back to the hotel, which is, it brings you down quite quickly, and then you've got to try and go to sleep, which is almost impossible, but it's it makes me smile quite a lot, and it's really a bit odd when you're just sat there with a big grin on your face. You probably look a bit mad.
It's complete euphoria when you come off the stage. We're all on such a high, and it's such a lovely moment when we all leave the arena and we get onto our tour bus and we just all high five and we say good job, and we reminisce and talk about the audience or how the routines went and who forgot what, or we just have a giggle. So it's a really nice moment, and I think that's when group morale is at its highest and we just feel really united, and it's really nice to have those moments after stage.
The Manchester gig, I got a little bit emotional at some of the points because, obviously that was where it all ended the first time round. My cousin came to see me the other night, and my auntie's not with us anymore, and I just imagined her sitting in the audience, and I got a bit like, oh. So, yeah, and I probably never would have done that 10 years ago. I'm sure having kids, it just ruins, it ruins your control.
It was the end of the show. All the confetti was coming down, and for a minute everything just froze, and the audience had been incredible, and I almost felt like the 5 of us were in one of those snow globes, when you shake it and all the snow comes down, and I just thought I just really want to keep that picture in my mind forever and just remember it.
You know what, in all honesty, there doesn't feel a big difference, and I think that's what's weird. I've said this before. What's weird is that it's not weird. I know that sounds strange, but we've fitted back into our roles. We've all slotted in, and it feels like 10 years have never gone by. Yes, we're a little bit older. We're probably not out partying as much as we used to, fair enough. There's children on board. There's more important things to think about. But we are loving it, and it feels fantastic to be on that stage as Steps again.
This has given me a real taste of it again, and I've been doing theatre and musical theatre for the last 10 years, but you can't compare with like 8,000 plus people out there singing the same words back and dancing along to your own tunes.
But all I know is that I feel lucky and I feel blessed to be doing it and just enjoying the here and now.
I love it. I love getting up on that stage. There's nothing like it, and singing every night.
This time around, I'm enjoying it a lot more, definitely. I mean, we had fun the first time, but this time, we're older, we're wiser, and we're doing this because we want to do it. So, the game's changed, and we actually want to be together and do it. And that feels really good. I've learned to live in the now and just enjoy it.
I didn't realise how emotional it would feel for us all, and you know, how much love there was out there for us. It's really been overwhelming.